this, let's speak to Klaus Lares. He's a professor of history and international affairs at the University of North Carolina in Chapel Hill. He joins us from Cologne, Germany. Professor, could you help our international audiences better understand the results of this election?
Yes, the election result wasn't really all that surprising. The opinion polls have indicated for several weeks now what the election result will be. And it means that Friedrich Merz, the leader of the Conservative Party, the CDU, CSU, will be Germany's new chancellor in a few weeks' time. But the center-right party, the AfD, came second, and that is not surprising because opinion polls indicated that, but it still is a shock to the system that almost 20% of the German population should have voted for an extreme right party. This is shocking after Hitler, after the Holocaust, after Germany's bad experiences with the far right in the past. Chancellor Olaf Scholz's party has come second. This is a deep disappointment, has come third, I'm sorry. And Scholz basically was defeated. He lost the election. He has admitted as such. He has also said that once Friedrich Merz has become chancellor, that he himself will not be ready to continue in politics. And as your reporter already said, migration was at the top of the list and top of the concerns of the German voters, as was the poor economic situation at the moment, and also relations with Russia regarding the Ukraine war, and also relations with the United States were deeply unsettling for many German voters. That explains the outcome of the election.
Klaus, you speak about four very interesting drivers behind this election. Now that we will have a new government and probably breaking with many elements of the past, how do you expect these policies, drivers to move forward in the new government?
Yeah, Friedrich Merz, the new chancellor, is a more conservative person than Olaf Scholz is. He is a businessman by background. He is focused on the economy, and he also has taken a very tough line on migration. His migration policy will be really very similar to the migration policy which has been popularized by the far right, the AfD. So we will see a very different policy to the policy of the last 3 years. But all German politicians, all democratic German politicians of the middle, they know if they do not approach the problems and address the problems the country faces at the moment, in 4 years' time, at the next election, the AfD, the extreme right, may actually get a majority of the people, the majority of the vote behind itself. And this would, of course, be deeply unsettling. So these elections have been extremely important because it's, in a way, it's a last chance for the middle-of-the-road parties to address the German problems, to seriously do something about the economic situation, about migration, and also about making Germany and Europe more independent in world affairs. If they don't do that, then really the far right is ready to take over the government in 4 years' time.
Klaus, how do you see these electoral results impacting on the Russia-Ukraine conflict and in the EU?
Well, that's very difficult to see because, you know, Germany and Europe is not in the driving seat here. All German politicians are outraged that the United States should talk to Putin's Russia about the Ukraine war, that not even the Ukrainians, and certainly not Germany and the Europeans, are at the table. But this is a war in Europe. It's a war about Ukraine taking place on European soil, so that only Russia and the United States and no European powers should talk to each other about that terrible war. This many politicians and most people find deeply unsettling. And it also is an indication how weak Europe has become, that Europe hasn't or isn't playing the role of a great power in international politics, and that Donald Trump in particular is openly dismissive of the power and the strengths of Europe, which he sees as a weak continent. And of course, the new German Chancellor, Friedrich Merz, wants to address that. He certainly wants to make Germany stronger again by investing much more in the German military, and he also has called for a much more united Europe, because only in a united Europe, Germany and all the other countries are strong enough to take on the great powers.
Professor Klaus Lares, thank you very much.